Howdy, everybody. Welcome to the Dorian Show. I am the sheriff of this town, Dorian Trong. Welcome. There's not a lot of people here today because they are all out trick or treating. Happy Halloween. What is up, everyone? My name is Dorian. Welcome to the Dorian Show. This is episode 3. You guys are probably going to get this a little late because I was feeling under the weather. I think I developed a cold, but I'm feeling better now. I hope it's not the cold vid. Get it? Anyway, if you guys are listening to this on YouTube, please hit the like button and subscribe. Over half of the people watching this aren't subscribers, so please subscribe. It helps me reach other people out there that might be interested. And please hit the like button. You know what I mean? I already got haters. I'm new at this game, and I already got like one person out there disliking my videos. And even though I got like 4 people to like them, it looks pretty bad. That's 25% of people want me to stop. And please show some love. Also, if you guys don't want to watch this on YouTube, you could listen to this on all podcast platforms. It's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts. Make sure to subscribe there also. Thank you guys for your support. As always, I like to hear feedback from you guys. If there's any topics you guys want me to talk about, message me, ask me questions on Instagram, Twitter, or just on the YouTube comments. That'll be great. Thank you for your support. Let's jump into the show. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. I've been the last week or so, I was getting like a little cough, and I thought I was going to get over it. But yesterday, almost a week later, I started getting congestion in the nose and the face. And I had to help my friend move to his new home. So I was like a little scared about, helping him if I have a cold. But it turns out half of the people there had the cold, so whatever. And I don't think it's the COVID. I can still taste, I can still smell. I'm still eating like a fatty, so it's fine, man. I think I'll be able to shake this in a couple days. But yeah, what am I gonna start talking about? Oh, speaking of colds, let me tell you a story. When I was in high school, I was very sick my senior year of high school, and I played basketball back in the day when I was in high school on the high school team, and I was very sick, so I wasn't able to really participate in practice or like playing the games or anything like that, which doesn't really matter because I'm mostly sat on the bench anyway. So basically, I wasn't wearing my jersey, sitting on the bench. And then, so there was this one day we had a game. I was still showing up to the games, but I wasn't playing. I was in plain clothes, I guess you could say. And there was this one game. So let me get back to this. Back in the day, there was like no MapQuest. I mean, no Google Maps, no Apple Maps. We had to use directions you find from like MapQuest. So I would print out these directions to go to these games. And on this specific day, I printed out these directions, but I couldn't figure out how to get to the game. I was driving around and I was clearly lost. So I called my coach and I said, "Hey, I'm still feeling sick. I tried coming to the game. I can't find the gym. So I guess I'm just gonna go home. Whatever." So I went home. It took me forever to find the freeway too, because, like I said, I was lost. But I was able to manage to get home. And then the next day, my coach came up to me and basically kicked me off the team because I didn't show up to the game, I think, and because I was missing a lot of practice. But I was dying. I swear I had COVID back in 2006, wherever it was, when I was in high school. And the worst thing was he kicked me off the team, and then that year they ended up winning the championship. And he gave away my trophy to someone that didn't even make the team. I guess they had to replace me, I guess. But I was just like, all right, dude, you gave away my trophy. And the guy who he gave the trophy to, like during before tryouts, we have something called conditioning. So even before the school year, my coach typically would have all the basketball players and anyone that wants to join the basketball player. We just do conditioning in the summer right before school, and he would just make us run a lot, which is not my favorite thing to do, but you know, I had to put all my effort out there because that's the maybe one of the very few times where I feel like I like really worked hard to try to get it on the team. But this is my third year. You know, I kind of knew like where I fit in. You know, my school is really small. They needed like a bigger guy to probably plug in there for defense. So I knew I was pretty good as long as I put in effort. I think my spot on the team is secure. Anyway, so we were doing conditioning on the baseball field at Balboa Park, I think, and we were basically he just made us run around the baseball field for I don't know how long. It was just like whenever he decided for us to stop. So then there's this one guy. Um, what do you guys call it? I'm not a real huge fan of baseball, but you know where the home plate is, right behind the home plate. There's like a barrier to protect, I guess, the pitcher, like throwing wild pitches, hitting the crowd. So anyway, this one guy, I'm gonna leave him nameless. Um, he didn't like to run, and when we excuse me, I'm coughing. I got some hot tea here. Sorry for anyone listening at home. Mm. So anyway, this kid at the time, he was probably when I was a senior, he was probably like freshman or sophomore. So he was running. He got tired pretty quick, and I was always a big boy. I was like 230 in high school. Obviously, I was a little bit more in shape than I am now, even though I'm lighter now. I just pushed through it. But then this kid, he would run, and when he gets to home plate, he started hiding behind the barrier so the coach couldn't see him. And he would just hide there, and then while people would just make laps around the baseball field, he would just like crouch behind there, which was insane. And I think one of the other players who later probably quit the team, I think, because he couldn't make grades. He like called that guy out. Like it was just like, yo, man, you lazy motherfucker, get up and run. And the whole point of the story is my coach kicked me off the team because I couldn't find my way to the game, and I was sick, so I missed like maybe like a month's long of like practices. Um, and he like took this guy on the team and put him and gave him my trophy. The guy that hid behind home plate got my trophy my senior year. Kicked me off the team, right? Anyway, I don't know why I told you guys that story. It's always a joke I would tell my friends that were on the team. I'm just like, yo, Coach George owes me a trophy, man. He owes me a trophy. Anyway, I guess the other thing I want to address is last week I talked about uranium, and on Friday, the price of uranium went down, and all the stocks basically got hammered pretty hard. And I'm just want to talk to you guys like I am aware of it. I think the thesis of higher uranium price is still good. But I think I said this already. It's probably, I mean, it might, but it might take up to 2 years for the price of uranium to skyrocket. So, you know, I hope you guys didn't sell if you guys decide to buy it. I doubt you guys were listening to me anyways, but I'm actually probably going to buy more shares of Cameco, CCJ, or Spot Uranium Trust SRUUF. If it drops more, I'm going to end up buying more. But today, for my first financial topic, let's talk about Facebook. I guess there's a big news out there that what's his name? Mark Zuckerberg is trying to change the company name to Meta, but I don't really care about that. There was another thing that came out recently, so I guess there was like some lady that worked for Facebook decided to leak internal documents about how Facebook is a terrible company. And one of the big things is her saying like Instagram is basically making teenage girls' self-image worse, like because of all the Photoshop, I guess, where all the Instagram models online are making teenage girls to have more like image issues than ever. And it was like breaking news, and I mean, honestly, I feel like this is stuff that's been in our society for a long time. It's not exactly breaking news. Everybody's been talking about like how Instagram is fake, how everybody uses um dude, I'm so old. I don't even know what those are called. Filters, basically to make people look better, make their face look smoother, make them look younger, look making girls look more beautiful, etc., etc. And this is like big news coming out of these leaks when I feel like everybody already knew this. And the other thing is, like, the self-image thing has been an issue that we've been talking about for years. I'm in my 30s, so I remember people talking about this in magazines. Um, how like Sports Illustrated and like I don't know what else teenager magazines, 16, 17, I don't know, Teen Vogue or whatever. Like they have all these women's with bodies that are unattainable, photoshopped, blah blah blah. So it's been going on for a long time. They even talk about like I don't know, like our celebrities or whatnot. It's just not good for young women's image of themselves. So this has been going for a long time, and yet it's very weird, and I'm very wary that the government is kind of going after Facebook, just Facebook, by the way, and trying to hammer them for it. You know, I hope it's just that innocent, like they're trying to um, fight against, I guess, like depression and mental health in young women based on like what they see on Instagram and like how they deal with their self image. Like I wish it was that innocent, but I think it's something more sinister. I think they want to use this as an opportunity to kind of control social media and be able to control what people basically are able to post on it. You know, specifically Facebook. There's two camps, right? There are people that think Facebook censoring one set of views, conservative views, and then the liberals are thinking Facebook is basically letting misinformation run rampant and they want more control and they want more censorship. So that's where I think they're going towards. I just don't understand like why they're going off their Facebook, just Facebook, not Snapchat, not TikTok. Where I mean, all these creators are on all these platforms. By the way, I'm not on them because I'm old, but like all those models or whatever on all the platforms because that's how they get followers. But yeah, I mean, we already knew this for years. I just don't want this to be a way for government to control more, more aspects of our life. I never. I always think the government wants to find ways to have more control over our everyday lives. So I hope that's not the case. And also, it's been known that people don't even use Facebook anymore. They are talking about teenagers and younger people are moving out of Facebook, and they recently said that about Instagram too. Like they're moving off of Facebook, Instagram. So how can both things be true? How are young people no longer using Instagram and Facebook while moving over to TikTok and Snapchat, but at the same time Instagram is like ruining young girls' self-image? You know what I mean? Like those both those things are in conflict. And because of that reason, they just recently had earnings, Facebook, and they're saying how they're losing their younger audience, and that's why their stock went down on Friday and Thursday. On Thursday and Friday, I swear I'm fine. By the way, just coughing a little bit. So I'm like, okay, so are they a bad influence, or are they losing their influence on teenagers? What is it? Doesn't matter. All right, whatever. Let's jump to like the actual financials of Facebook. I think they beat earnings, might have missed revenues. They're basically a cash cow. Okay, like there's no point. I feel like online advertising is the best way to reach your customers at this point. Um, like why would you advertise anything on TV, right? There's no like guarantee. that anyone's actually watching that program. You kind of have like a general sense of like demographics of like 25 to 60 or something is watching this program. But a lot of people I know don't even have cable anymore. Like I don't even watch TV. I don't remember the last time I saw a commercial, honestly. And Facebook and Instagram and even Google, you're able to buy targeted ads to your audience, and I think that's just a way better way to sell your product. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I don't think Facebook is dying. It's a weird conundrum though. Um, on a lot of products or on a lot of culture and popular culture, it's always driven by the youth. But it's funny because they don't have they don't have money. Um, so you something drives the youth drives the popularity, but then you make money when adults with jobs come in and start making money, so you can monetize off of adults. Um, so yeah, so I don't know. I think Facebook will continue to make a lot of money. Like they're just a cash machine until probably like 10 years if they're ever going to become obsolete. Because even though like the younger teens are not going onto that platform, the people spending money are people in like their mid 20s, 30s, 40s, and so on. People with buy purchasing power. So, of course, they have something to worry about. They need to stay relevant, but the money is where the adults are. The teens create the hype, and the adults spend the money. I saw a really interesting podcast recently. Andrew Schultz, Flagrant 2. He was interviewing what's his name, DJ Academics, and it's probably one of the most interesting podcasts I've seen in a long time. And DJ Academics was talking about like the music industry and how like very niche like artists that not a lot of people know about like sell out tickets and sell stadiums, and that's because they have um, a smaller group of adults willing to spend money so they can make like millions of dollars. Whereas something like I don't know which new rapper he was talking about, but like Lil Durk or maybe Lil Baby, how they're very popular, but they have to sell their tickets for like $10, $15 because um, the kids aren't able to afford to buy like $60 tickets, so they're buying like $10, $15 tickets. So someone could have like millions and millions of more followers on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, etc. They're actually selling less, or they're making less money because their audience can't afford it. So that's kind of like Facebook. They're monetizing on the adults, but they're afraid to lose what's basically making them cool in the future. So I think they'll probably figure it out. As of right now, I feel like Facebook, Instagram is probably the best place you could spend your ad dollars are if you're a business. Maybe YouTube and Google, but basically it's mostly Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. I feel like those are the three platforms where you could get like the most out of your money if you're doing advertising. Um, but yeah, I mean, I like Facebook. I'm gonna hold it long. Probably like YouTube a little bit more. I mean, Google a little bit more for the long run because they have YouTube, and I don't think anyone's ever gonna get off of YouTube. It's just there's just so much for everyone on YouTube. Like you'll learn any topics. There's entertainment. You can like learn how to like probably build a car or something and do surgery. And everything is on there. There's something for everyone, and there's always eyeballs. So YouTube is probably one of the biggest ad revenues for Google. And anyway, so yeah, I like Facebook. You guys, I feel like it's safe to buy Facebook. I'll probably buy some more if they drop even more, but I doubt it. Like they're just making so much cash, and there's basically no debt on their balance sheet. All right, so let's talk about my stand up so far. Um, it's a very weird. It's a very weird feeling whenever I do stand up. I feel like it's almost my attitudes towards open mic is almost like bipolar. Like I'm not bipolar, but I could see like the drastic ups and downs of how I'm feeling about how I'm doing in comedy, and it's it's kind of crazy. It's from like day to day. Like one day I would go up there, I'll do my set, and I'll be like, dude, I am the best. I'm so good at this. I'm very funny. And then the next day I'll wake up and I'll be like, oh man, you're straight trash. You are straight trash. And that's just emotional roller coaster, you know? Like it's it's hard to stay motivated. Like last week I almost didn't want to go to these mics, but I went there. I think it was on Friday. I went there and it was pretty good. Like I didn't get a lot of laughs, but I had some new jokes and I felt motivated from that. Um, and yeah, I think like having friends in open mic is very important. Even if they're laughing, they're like fake laughing because they know your jokes already. It really makes you feel better because hearing the audience reaction is always good. But my current goal is to get on a show with a real audience, and and like this is part of like how my feelings of highs and lows, right? So I think I have a pretty good 5 minutes, albeit some people might not like it because some of the stuff I say might be offensive to them. I think I talked about this last week, but it's really not. I don't think it's offensive if you listen to it. Um, but I'm still getting better. But anyway, so one of the open mics I go to on the upstairs, someone runs a show, and I went to a show, and to be honest, like it's okay. So it's a free show, and they basically want you to buy 2 drinks minimum. I get it, so the bar could stay afloat. I get it, super cool. And then afterwards, they ask for donations, and I think from the donations that he pays out the comics, right? So, but it's a free show. Like if you're not gonna donate money, like you'll just look bad. But whatever. So basically, it's a free show, but there's a live audience, and that's what I really want. So I went to this show. I saw the comics. Some were good, and some were like, meh. You know what I mean? Like honestly, I don't see the talent that much better than what I see in the open mics. And like actually, some of these people I've seen at open mics. So not to be super narcissistic or whatnot, but maybe I don't know. None of you guys have heard my stand up before, unless you're an open mic or you're my friend that happened to show up. But I saw that I was like, okay, if anything, I feel like I'm as good as these people, and I could probably do like 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes on the stage, right? And and then so I talked to the guy that was running the show afterwards. I was like, hey man, like how do I get on the show? I like an opportunity, blah blah blah. And he was like, all right, send me 5 minutes. I was like, all right, cool, dude. I'll send you 5 minutes. And then he was just like, oh, I just want to tell you, like, if I'm not if I'm not laughing within the first minute, I'm gonna stop watching. I'm like, all right, dude. Like, we both sat in on the show. We know what's up, homie. Like, calm the fuck down. Was what I was thinking in my head. But I was like, but then also I get it. Obviously, if it sucks, like, why watch more than 1 minute, right? Whatever. So I go home and took one of my. No, that's not true. Okay, so then I was like, all right, I'll send him something, and then I think maybe a week after that, I saw him at an open mic, and he went early in the day. I was gonna go right after him, but turns out I was going last that day. It's freaking crazy. Um, so he did his set, whatever, and he stayed for a little bit. I was hoping he could see my set live, with a live, even though open micers, but with like an audience, and maybe he'd get like the feel of me. I feel like that's always better than a recording. Anyway, he left. Obviously, he didn't. No, I don't expect him to stay till the end of the night. But then, when I went up there, I did my jokes. It's probably. I thought it went pretty well. There was like 2 people there that were not open micers. Like they were there just to watch, and they were laughing. You hear them cracking up. 2 of my friends were there. One of them was recording. She was laughing, probably fake laughing because she's seen the set before. And then this other guy I know who's just like reacting to some of the crazy stuff I was saying. So I was like, that's a pretty good audience. You know what I mean? Like half of that stuff is real for the laughter, and the other half is like my friends being supportive. But overall I think is a pretty good set. So then that day I was just like, hey, what's up, man? He's like, what's up? So I went home and I was like, oh, this is a good time to send him a clip. Maybe I could hop on one of his shows. So I took that clip, I put it online, private. No one else has seen it, right? So I sent it directly to him, and I saw that he watched it. He watched it he watched it 3 times. I don't know if he watched the whole thing through all the time, or he watched like 3 times. Like he'll stop and pick it up later or whatnot, or he's just sending this link to a couple of his friends, 2 other of his friends, or he's just watching it 3 times, and every time he watches it, he hates it even more. But anyway, long story short is I haven't heard back from this guy yet, and I was just like, and that's just part of like the ups and downs of feeling. I was just like, dude, this is a good set. Like when I first did get a response from him, I was like, yo, like I don't get it. I think I'm good enough to get on this show, and I was just like, I can't believe this. Like everything, I feel like there's a gatekeeper in everything, and I'm not the best. What you call it? Networking kind of guy. And I also don't want to make excuses because maybe my stuff isn't funny, but it's just this conflict that I'm feeling. Just I think I'm funny enough. I should get on this. I should try to probably network more. But on the other side, I'm just like, maybe you should just work on jokes. You're not that funny. Like, calm down. So I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I can't help but feel like everything in this world is networking, and it kind of sucks. Like I've seen podcasts of like successful comedians, and they're just like, yeah, dude, like everything else, like if you're an actor, you need someone to pick you. But if you're a comedian, if you're funny, you're funny. You'll be able to make a living. And I'm like, I don't even know if that's true, man. If you're an open micer, like you need someone to, right? It's easier enough to get open mics, because people that run open mics want people to show up to do the open mics. But like to get on a show, you're basically doing the same thing. You're auditioning to like one person, I mean, until they give you a live audience, you're auditioning to one person who makes the decision to even put you on. And there's like many levels, right? There are these free shows that they put on that probably don't even pay you, and you're hustling to try to get them to pick you on to one of those. And if you get into one of those, you're like hoping someone will pay you or pick you to play in a club. So in the beginning, it's just people like picking you so you get in front of an audience. And if you don't get picked, like how do you know if you're even funny? It's because jokes aren't objective; they're subjective. So that's what I've been thinking about that. But yeah, that's just me and my comedy so far. I'm gonna continue with it. I'm gonna do it for a year. It's been like a month and a half, but I could stick with it. I'm pretty sure I could stick with it. You know, I'm still getting excitement from it once in a while. Like it's never. I don't always feel great about it, but they're almost at least once a week. I'm just like, yeah, dude, I'm gonna come back and do this. This is what I'm supposed to do. But yeah. Um. So yeah, I'm still going to the gym, the MMA gym. That one's rough to go to, man. Like sometimes I don't really want to go. I don't get the excitement I do as I get when I go to do open mics, but part of me just want to stick it out. And the other day I was sparring with people in Muay Thai, and I gotta say like I'm too nice, and I don't mean it like he's nice with it, man. He got nice moves. I don't mean that. I'm like too nice. I'm both nice and really slow. So there's like a really bad combination if you want to get into any fighting, martial arts or anything like that. Like I'm doing Muay Thai with these people. I mean, they're not trying to hurt me, but I'm not like exactly throwing it straight at their face. Because part of me don't want to hit them, right? So I'm kind of throwing it kind of off, and I'm kind of just like jabbing at their hands. But like pretty soon I realized like they're fucking hitting me in the face, dude. And I was just what the fuck? Like I'm not trying to keep getting hit. But I mean, I don't know. It's hard to like they want you to spar fast, real real speed, but you're like holding back your punches, and I'm just like I don't know how to do that. Like I could turn up the intensity, but what I mean, like with it, I feel like someone might get hurt, you know. But that's where I'm at. It's nice being taller. Um, Being tall with the reach, you could basically make up for a lack of speed. So I'm like 6 foot. Shout out, ladies. I'm 6 foot, but 6'3" on Tinder. um, I'm like, I'm sparring with someone that's maybe like 5'7", 5'8". They're quicker than me, but because I have the length, like it, it basically cancels out that the extra step they have, I guess, and it's really nice. But when I was going against someone that was tall like me, like man, it's just I don't even know. Like they're just throwing combos, and I'm just throwing one punch at a time and getting pieced up. But yeah, man. But yeah, MMA. It's hard. I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna stick with it for a year, but I mean, I do need to work out. I miss lifting weights, and I haven't done it because it's pretty tiring doing boxing, Muay Thai classes, and jujitsu. Um, but yeah. The other thing I wanted to talk about today, a bunch of essays by Albert Camus. I think he's French, a philosopher, author, novelist. I read his essay surrounding the myth of Sisyphus. And for those of you guys who are not familiar with Greek mythology, like Sisyphus, his name is Sisyphus. So in Greek mythology, he pissed off the gods. It doesn't really matter what he did. But basically, they punish him by having him perpetually pushing this rock up a mountain. So from the plains, he has to like push this giant boulder up to the very top, and as it hits the very top, the rock rolls all the way back down, and that's his punishment. He has to do it forever. And the reason why Albert Camus brings this up is because that that story of Sisyphus is really like good representation of what like human life is. You know what I mean? So what Albert Camus is really into is called absurdism. Basically, he's saying like life has. He basically says like life has really no meaning. And absurdism is about how to like deal with that fact, right? He says like a lot of people we struggle to find meaning in life. Like we understand that the world that we live in don't make sense. Like it's absurd. Like the world that we live in is absurd, but to it's also human nature to find reason, to find meaning in life. So there's this incongruence like between a crazy world that we live in and us trying to make sense of the world, right? But he's saying the world doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Life is meaningless. You basically live and then you die, which is kind of dark. But Albert Camus basically says there's really three responses um, to a life absurdity, a life of absurdity. Like one is basically you could go kill yourself, which he is not an advocate for, by the way. I'm not either. I'm not either. I just want to tell you guys I'm not for suicide. But he's basically saying like when someone is faced with the fact that life is meaningless, then at least like they could make the decision to go out the way they want, basically kill themselves. But Albert Camus doesn't say you should do that, and I don't think so either. And the main reason he says that he's like just because there's no meaning in life, surely there's no meaning in death. So you might as well just live your life because it doesn't absolve you of anything besides like your existence. But he's saying like it doesn't. You won't find meaning in killing yourself, basically. And then the second thing he says you could do when you're faced with the absurdity of life is to basically lie to yourself. And a lot of people do this by religion. And I don't have anything against religion or being religious. For those of you guys that know me, like I was pretty religious for most of my life until maybe like the last couple of years. Like I was religious like throughout college even and even after that, you know. very into like Christian theology and such. So I get it. I get why people look for religion. But Albert Camus says that what religion does is to basically we're using religion to find meaning after life because there's no meaning in life. Religion will provide us a way for meaning in the afterlife. And he says like that's basically lying to yourself because you don't deal with the absurdity of life now. You don't deal with your life now, and you're hoping on something that he doesn't think is there. But for the rest of us, it might or might not. There might or might not be something after death. We don't know. So he's saying you're hoping in something in the future that's uncertain at best and probably doesn't exist, while basically not addressing the absurdity of life right now. So that's the second choice. And if you're not religious, there are other things that he equates to religion. Maybe a lot of people like have this belief that you could. There's like one truth. They follow this one truth, and then they try to live within it. So it's like you need to be successful in life to be able to retire comfortably or live a comfortable life, and that's the meaning of life. So a lot of people would, from a very young age, study real hard in school, go to a good college, study real hard, get a good job, and basically ended up spending like 65 years of their lives doing that, trying to reach this goal. That at the end of it, I think a lot of people might realize that it was all for nothing. So that's the other thing. So first thing, you kill yourself. Second thing is you lie to yourself. And then the third thing Albert Camus says is basically you have to accept the absurdity of life and try to find a joy within the absurd world. And and I don't know, some people might find it kind of dark, but I think it's not. It's kind of positive. He's saying like we need to face the fact that life doesn't have meaning. There's probably not an afterlife. And because we're willing to accept that, we're able to face the absurdity of today. And because we are able to accept where we're at in life, we could possibly be able to find joy and happiness and experiences right now. So I think what he's trying to say here, I think a big theme here is probably I get out of it is probably be present in the present, like trying to enjoy what you're going through right now. Experiences that I'm having. It could be like both love and hurt, but to be fully alive to experience and to live in the moment. It's probably what he's saying. Um, and a lot of people might not be able to do it. You know what I mean? Like for me, I find less meaning in work because I'm like, okay, so I'm just gonna work till 65 and then I'm gonna die, right? There's no meaning in that. So because I realized that, I'm trying to find meaning in other things, trying to find joy in other things, and this just for me personally. So anyway, back to the story of Sisyphus. He's saying when people read that, it's like dread, eternal damnation, where this guy has to push a boulder up a hill, mountain, or whatever, and every day, just as he gets to the top, the boulder comes down. He has to do it over and over again. He's saying because Sisyphus knows, you know, knows the absurdity of his life and the tragedy of what's going on, he's able to rebel against the gods and rebel against his circumstances and be able to find happiness in those circumstances, which is weird. And he says that the moment of clarity and the moment he's most interested about Sisyphus is when he's walking back down the hill to push the rock. Because when you're in the middle of pushing a rock, you're probably not thinking too much because you're just pushing it. And it's hard, I'm assuming. But as he's walking down, he was able to reflect on life and to have like different thoughts and experiences that might bring him joy out of his acceptance. But who knows? I could be reading all of this wrong. I think I realized. I mean, you guys have to realize this too. I'm not very smart. I'm pretty dumb. And I know this. You know you're dumb. Just go. If you don't know if you're dumb or not, go try like reading a book. You know what I mean? Like it's so hard for me to comprehend what I was reading in the beginning that I had to start reading it out loud, which doesn't help me with this cold because it dries on my throat and I cough. But yeah, it took me reading his essays out loud for me to even have a little grasp of what he was trying to say. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was really interesting and I wanted to talk about this. I literally started reading the essays yesterday and I finished it today, so I want to talk about it. I don't know who's read it. If you haven't read it, definitely go read it. Tell me if I interpreted his essays wrong. Did I get absurdism right? Did I get it completely wrong? Do you guys follow the philosophy of like absurdism? Are you guys more existential, humanist? What are the fatalist, determinist? I don't know. So many philosophies out there. And if this interests you guys, definitely tell me what you think about Albert Camus and absurdism and the myth of Sisyphus. And what philosophy do you guys follow? You know, I'm interested in that. All right, let's jump to listener questions. First question here. I got a question from Mr. Daniel Nixon, who asks, how does a pool boy retire by the age of 35? Okay. And I got this question via text message because I know Daniel. All right. For those of you guys that know me and you want to contribute to questions and comments, you just text me. But for the people that don't know me that well yet, you know, if we never met personally, or we're not exactly, we've never met. Please hit me up on Twitter, hit me up on Instagram, or in the comments what you want me to talk about, or ask me questions. It could be anything, and if I feel like it's bringing good content to this podcast, I'll try and answer it. So anyway, Daniel Nixon, he says, how does a pool boy retire by the age of 35? So he didn't give any background, but I'll give you some background of Daniel. Daniel is about 23 or 24, and he's a business owner. He runs a pool business, and he wants to retire. So I'm guessing he wants to be able to make enough money now so he can retire in 10, 12 years, or be able to survive off his business. So, I mean, I've never started a business. I'm not smart enough to start a business, and I'm really proud of Daniel for even starting his own business at such a young age. And I think he's been doing it for like at least 2 years. So he basically started his own business when he was like 21 or 22. And that's something to actually admire. Like, I may make more money than him in my job, but I'm relying on someone else to give me money. You know what I mean? Like someone else was just like, all right, you deserve to eat. And they give me like a wad of cash. But when you're a business owner like Daniel, like every dollar you get, you know you're earning on your own. Like no one is giving you stuff. No one's handing you cash. The cash you make is the ones that you deserve, right? You run a business, you provide a service for an agreed upon amount of money. People give you money. If they like your service, they come back, they give you more money. You know what I mean? You could work more and get even more money. You could work less and make less money. It's basically all in your control. So number one, I just want to shout out to Daniel for even doing something that most people aren't able to do, which is start a business. Okay. So he says he wants to retire in 10 years. So basically you need to make enough cash. Right now I know that Daniel is doing all right, but he's not. He's probably making like a middle class salary from his business. So he's not like a high earner or anything. He has his own business. And basically you need to find a way to make more money. So how do you do that? So in most people will say like you need to, what's the word? You need to grow the business, basically. You need to scale the business. And if you're in the pool business, and let's say you're doing all the work yourself, you can only scale up so much because you only have so many hours in a day, and every hour you only can do so many pool cleanings, so many repairs, whatever. So it kind of limits your ability to scale up, right? And also, like, there's a just diminishing returns the more you work, because every pool you clean, you get more tired, blah blah blah. So how do you scale your business if it's a service industry? And the way to do that is hiring people to be able to make more money without you actually doing it yourself. And this might sound scary in the beginning because let's say you have 100 pools, you know what I mean? And then you want to hire someone, you give them 50 of the pools and you do out of the 50, you're actually making less money, right? Because you need to pay the guy for the 50 pools and then you're cleaning the other 50 pools. And I would also argue that even though you're making less money, you should probably add another employee at that point. So instead of like 50 between you and 50 on the one guy you hire, you should probably move towards 33 for the one guy, 33 for the other guy, and 33 for yourself, and keep that going until the people you hire have like a full workload and you just keep hiring people. And at the same time, you should be out there trying to get more clients. And I know that's easier said than done, but that's what you need to do. Daniel, you need to scale your business. And I know we talked about this before, but yeah, it's better that you make 10 cents off of someone else's labor than $1 off your own labor, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So yeah, I would say grow your business, try to find more, get more employees, and try to find more customers, and just give them more shifts. Like right now, you'll probably make less money, but at a certain point, you'll be taking up enough revenues that you'll probably make more money. And in terms with your cash, you probably should put that money in the stock market or Celsius, what I talked about before. Because holding cash is bad. If you're holding cash, you're losing the value of your money every day because inflation is going up crazy. You guys don't know, inflation is going like 5% a year right now on that trajectory. Groceries are going all the way up. Meat, even though the government says is only a transitory, I don't even know what the word is. Transitory, saying inflation will fall back down, but really it never does. You know what I mean? Every time we print paper, like everything just gets more expensive. The value of your dollar just gets lower. So you should be investing in things that beats inflation, and stocks are one of those things. You get individual stocks, which is more risky, or you just get an index, like the S&P 500, and you should be good. But anyway, that's all I got today. Daniel Nixon, thank you for giving me that question. I hope everybody enjoyed this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed like the whole philosophy talk. I was just really into it these last 2 days, so I definitely want some comments and questions on that. Yeah, I'm gonna keep doing my stand up even through the ups and downs, and I'll let you guys know when I get booked for my first show. You know, if it is either a paid show or a free show. What I just want is a live audience. That's all I want. I just want to go somewhere with a live audience who could give me some real feedback if my stuff is funny or not. Anyways, please subscribe on YouTube. Hit the like button. Please leave a comment or a question. It really helps the algorithm. And also, if you want to watch me talking to this mic, you can listen to me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts, and please subscribe there as well. All right, guys. Love you all. Peace.